Welcome to Bloodbath and Beyond. Today I wanted to do something a little bit different because it is the first week of October. Everybody's starting to put out a bunch of horror content, and while we're ramping ours up, a lot of our friends and fellow creators on YouTube are also putting out a ton of videos and some really quality content that I don't think are getting enough eyes. So today I just want to showcase 10 channels in no specific order that I think deserve more subscribers and definitely your attention. Well, the rest of this list will not be in any particular order. I do want to start with the highest sub count, which is over 9,000.
9,000? There's no way that could be right! It can't!
Don't be so sure.
And that's Count Chocula. Horror, sex, and Satanism. Chocula has a ton of variety on his channel, from Let's Plays to great rants about certain movies, and where him and the horror guru kind of talk about movies together. Chocula is a fun and funny character, and he kind of talks in this like Transylvania accent.
What the fuck are you talking about?
And he's just a blast to watch no matter what he's doing. Next up, we have Spooky Astronauts with 3,500 subscribers.
Hi, my name is Emma, and let's talk spooky stuff.
What I really like about the Spooky Astronauts channel is Emma's always trying to evolve her content, and she ends up creating these really cool series on different horror. I think my favorite being horror from around the world, where she takes a country, finds some horror films from it, and tries to shed light on some lesser known films. I highly recommend you check out her channel, and it's worth noting that she is doing 31 Days of Horror, so you can expect a new video from her every day in October. Moving on, we have the smallest channel on this list at 800 subscribers. It's Lady Hellbat and the Bat Cave. Well, the Bat Cave is a relatively new channel. It's under a year old. Andrea is no stranger to horror at all. She works for Rue Morgue magazine, and she has a very successful podcast, The Faculty of Horror, that I know a lot of you already listen to. She has a unique perspective on horror, and any criticisms that she has of a movie, she backs up with this wealth of knowledge that I can only wish to have.
It looked like it had the wonderful concept that I loved from the Lights Out short, but it seemed like it was padded with almost really stereotypical horror tropes.
So I encourage you to not only subscribe to her channel, but to also check out the Faculty of Horror podcast. Next up, we have Special Mark Productions at just over 1,000 subscribers. If you're a longtime subscriber of ours, then you're probably familiar with Mark. He's been in our sidebar, I think, since day one. He was one of those smaller channels that unfortunately stayed a smaller channel despite the hard work that he puts into his content.
If you're looking for good horror to start off your 31 Days of Horror, All Through the House should be on your list, folks. It is a gory, bloody homage horror film wrapped in a tightly blood-red bow and delivered to you under your body part Christmas tree.
He makes fun, entertaining, and informative reviews of a lot of indie stuff. He covers most of the movies that we do. He just does them a lot faster. He's really good at what he does, and I respect the man. We talk all the time. I really respect Mark's hustle. He's been doing this for years and years, and he deserves way more attention than he actually gets. So please subscribe to this guy. You're going to like his content if you like ours. Next up, we have a channel that's truly unique. It's the Homicidal Homemaker. This is a cooking show with a horror twist on it. She does recipes, she does little cooking tutorials, she does product reviews, and everything is done in a very unique way with a very high production value. In her larger episodes, she has little skits. Her and her team put in a ton of work trying to develop this Homicidal Homemaker brand, and that's why she's a relatively new channel and already has almost 4,000 subscribers.
You'll need 3/4 a cup of water, 3/4 a cup of dark brown sugar.
Well, I'm not big into cooking. I watch her videos because I think they're great. They're hilarious, they're well done, and just everything looks really nice. And so I look at this like, how can I improve my content to look as good as hers? If you haven't seen her stuff yet, I definitely recommend the Camp Crystal Cake or the Hellraiser Cinnabite recipe for brownies. Definitely check those out. Next up, we have my good buddy, Eric from the Death Twitch Horror Review, who's sitting at 7,000 subscribers.
It's like so fucking 80s, it makes your head just want to explode. Yeah, exactly like that, actually.
I love the way that he delivers his content, how informed all of his reviews are, and just how fun and funny he is, especially when he's doing his drunk reviews or his drunkentaries. He's got this real no bullshit attitude to him, and he's hilarious. His editing is great, and everything that he does, I just really enjoy. I watch every single one of his videos.
I don't believe that these were just some security bots, and they certainly didn't make them fucking quiet, did they? Every sound, every move, like, look, I'll add the sounds right now. I'll do the robot, check it out.
And we've actually done a lot of drunken hangouts. If you've hung out with us on a Friday or Saturday night at like 3 in the morning, me and Eric have probably been on YouTube just talking shit. So definitely check him out, subscribe to his channel, and support my buddy Eric. Now this next entry isn't necessarily all horror, but is definitely deserving of a bigger subscriber base. It's the Door Canoes, who's just over 1,000 subscribers. Every Tuesday night they have celebrity guests come onto their show and just do Q&As. And it's fantastic. I used to join them every once in a while, and it's just a really good time. These guys know what they're talking about, and almost all of their guests are from the horror community or the indie horror community. And they just always have this great dialogue between them. They're just a group of nerdy guys talking about what they love, whether it's talking about Funko Pops or the latest big blockbuster movie or horror movies. You can always find some great discussion happening, whether it's live or it's one of the clips that they upload from a longer live event. Moving on, we have a channel that I'm not that familiar with, but I definitely have watched a few of their commentaries. It's the Late Late Horror Show. I saw these guys when I noticed them on social media, just kind of, we talk back and forth on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and then I went and checked out their channel, and they do some great commentaries. This is two buddies that just get together, watch some horror movies, and talk about what they love.
Purple. Well, we're gonna find she's even got purple areolas, purple nips.
You definitely gotta watch the Frankenhooker one. Highly recommend it. Moving on, we have the Horror Guru and Blood-Splattered Cinema.
Greetings, gorehounds, and welcome back to Blood-Splattered Cinema.
Josh is a very hyper reviewer. He's fun, he's entertaining, and he's hilarious. And he has just under 8,000 subscribers.
In fact, the first half of this movie at times reminded me a lot of Stuart Gordon's Dolls, which was a very flawed movie that I still enjoy. I don't know, just something about creepy dolls that just works for me.
I really like watching the Horror Guru because we don't always agree on everything. So it's nice to hear somebody bring up something that I might have overlooked, and sometimes he's able to kind of get me thinking in a way that I hadn't about certain situations in a movie or just what I thought of a movie in general. So I know many of you guys ask who I watch. Horror Guru is one of my go-to reviewers. Before we move on to the final entry on the list, I do want to give an honorable mention to Lindsay, the Horror. Many of you already know her. She has over 10,000 subscribers now, which congratulations, Lindsay. She's always putting out great content. She's always trying to improve herself, and she's always participating in the discussion and has a genuine love for horror. I highly recommend her channel. She does a lot of unboxings, top 10s, and of course reviews. So definitely check out the Horror. She's in our sidebar. Most of these people are in our sidebar. Go to our sidebar and you can just kind of subscribe to all of them because they're awesome. And now the final entry on this list. He's criminally underrated for the amount of time and effort he puts into his work. It's Screaming Soup. We recently did a collaboration. We reviewed this stuff together. We actually flipped channels. If you haven't seen those, definitely check those videos out because it was a blast working with him. His reviews are animated, but they also have clips of the film, so you get to see what he's talking about.
They could have at least started on El Cuatro de Mayo and end on Cinco de Mayo, but no. This is like a Christmas movie telling a story that happens the day after Christmas, which nobody does because holiday movies should build up to be or on the fucking holiday is themed around. And once Cinco de Mayo ends, the fun unnecessarily does as well.
They're always just over the top hilarity. When I found him, I fell in love because, like, honestly, this is one of those channels that deserves 100,000 subscribers out the gate because of what he's doing. And now I know that there's a ton of other horror creators on YouTube that are just as deserving as the people on this list, but I can't name them all. There's so many of us now, and it's great. I really love the horror community, and what we're building here on YouTube is fantastic. There's so many talented people expressing their love for the craft and sharing their thoughts and just kind of creating. And so if you guys have not subscribed to these people, I highly recommend you do. Check out my featured channels list. Most of these people are in there. There are links in the description. And you know, share in the comments some channels that maybe we haven't talked about here on the channel that you think deserve an opportunity to be seen. And for everybody else, go check out the comments and maybe you can find a new channel that you can fall in love with. And as always, thank you for watching. If you liked the video, make sure you like it. And if you haven't subscribed to us, be sure to hit the subscribe button and stay updated with everything Bloodbath and beyond.